Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We're playing every mission of the mainline Halo video game series in chronological order, discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts read on the show, email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be playing the High Charity mission on the next episode. This episode, we're debriefing Uprising from Halo 2. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krysta Brown.
Clomp, clomp, clomp.
Chief and on the last mission, Chief and the Arbiter came face to face with the Grave Mind. After a quick powwow with the assimilated 22401 Penitent Tangent, the Prophet of Regret, and Gravy Poo, Chief is set to High Charity via portal in order to track down the Prophet of Truth amidst the initial skirmish of the Great Schism. This mission, fresh off his enlightening conversation with Gravemind, the Arbiter is transported outside the Delta Halo's control room to chase down the Index before it can be used to fire the Halo. Thel must fight through a contingent of brutes, but gets a little help from his Sangheili brethren on the way to intercept Tartarus. The date of the game is November 3rd, 2552. So we have a little short cutscene here, just getting dropped off, essentially. Do you guys... So the in the distance there, that's the control room, right?
Yes.
And the control room is where the Index needs to be in order to activate the Halo. Is that right?
I believe so.
Okay. I was looking at it right away, and I was like, that looks kind of familiar. Did we ever see it like that in Halo CE? Or were we...
No, not really. It's kind of different because Halo CE's one is like in a ravine at the very end, up against the wall. So like it's not open
in the snow,
like this one is. Yeah, covered in snow.
Oh, right.
It's against the cliff and the snow level.
Okay. Yeah. So they're not all. We've talked about the Halos kind of being carbon copies of each other. They're not necessarily exactly the same. There's little tweaks here and there. I love seeing the building in the distance. So I think they did a great job there, and it also gives you a sense of kind of where you're going right away, because you are just kind of like swirling down, this hill to try to get down towards the control room. So you pop out, and then you grab a plasma rifle right away, and then you keep going, and then you grab your energy sword. You start to see some dead elites. You're like, oh, okay, here we go. So you're just, we've experienced some of the schism on Chief's end in the last mission, but now we're in the schism. Now we're part of the schism as Arbiter. So the first couple, you see some brutes right away, and they don't necessarily know you're there because you just came in via portal. Do you guys try to do stealth right away, or do you kind of just...
Kind of. Depends on the difficulty, like...
Yeah.
It can be difficult to go gung-ho against the brutes straight up, especially at the very start. You don't have anywhere to retreat to. There's not a lot of weapons around either. So I try and stealth some of them as soon as I can.
Yeah. Krista, do you stealth?
No, I just murdered them.
Sounds like Krysta.
Sounds about right. So they take a couple swords though, right? Like a couple energy swords to kill them?
It depends. I think it's just one if they're normal and two if they're crazy.
Oh, yeah. So I guess we didn't talk about that in the last episode, how they go berserk. So when they go berserk, they charge at you, the brutes we're talking about, but are they also stronger? Like, are they harder to kill?
Yeah.
Yeah, they get a bit tougher.
Yeah, I think so.
They do get legitimately tougher?
They just take more hits. Yeah.
So best, obviously, to kill them before they go berserk. Do you get... Another question. Do you know what triggers them to go berserk? Is it just like a little bit of damage? They don't have health bars, obviously. Mm-hmm. Some games that we play nowadays do have health bars, but I'm wondering if it's like maybe they get down to like, I don't know, below half health and they take off, or...
No, it's when there's only one of them left in the group.
Oh, is that right? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It's really annoying.
Yeah, they are super annoying, especially on harder difficulties. They just come up and one-shot you.
Yeah.
It's great. 10 out of 10.
So yeah, we're just kind of winding around here in this little, I don't know what we're in, like a kind of a woodsy area, woodsy chasm area. But then you see some brutes firing up above you. And so you kind of, I think I took them out with my plasma rifle. And maybe hucked a couple grenades up there, and then climbed up and around. And then you get inside the door, and then your elite buddy pops out. And you're like, all right, let's go. I didn't catch exactly what he said, but he more or less says, all right, the brutes are here. They're, they betrayed us. Let's go kill them all.
Yep. And then some drop pods fire behind you as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Are there specific elites that come with you the entire time? Because I did notice some different, I think there was an honor guard at one point that was.
Yeah, you can
me.
get a few different types.
Okay.
I think initially you have 3 blue and 1 gold.
Okay. Yeah.
It will change on the difficulty and stuff.
Yeah, I
the ones
guess.
that are around.
Yeah, I was on normal, so.
Yeah, it is fun though. Seeing, I felt like I got a little, like this is the point where I felt better about Arbiter. Like you've seen all this crap go on, and you're still kind of unsure of him. You're playing as him, but you kind of want to play as Chief. But now that you get to be a part of the schism and take on the brutes, and then when you meet up with your buddies, and they're like, all right, let's go. There's a little drum roll in the background. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
No, you can cop up.
It's a lot of sad music, and then it kind of works up to the ba 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 later in the mission.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was good. I felt ready to go take on the brutes after I heard a little that, just a little drum roll in the background. Drum roll, let's get some buddies together. I think I was rolling 4 or 5 guys at one point and some grunts. Although some of the grunts that you meet, they're not very helpful.
Yeah.
No, they usually just die instantly or they hide. But I think this mission really makes you feel for the elites. Mm-hmm. I think this is the first time where you really feel part of the Covenant. Yes. Because all of the other missions, you've kind of been Arbiter solo, kind of doing his thing. Mm-hmm. But this one makes you really feel a part of what's going on in the action.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Because you're
you have a cause. It's not just get the index. Then you're like, well, Chief's trying to get the index, so I don't really want to get the index.
Well, I think.
But now it's same cause.
Yes, kind of exactly. Yeah, before you were like, well, why am I on the bad guys team? And now it makes more sense, right? I got there's a cowardly grunt achievement. Did you guys get that at all?
I'm sure I did at some stage.
Okay, so
I
it
didn't
popped
get it
for me
this
this
time.
time. Did you get it, Krysta? There's if you're kind of in this area, there's a grunt in the corner just cowering, saying, he's scared of the brutes essentially, and go on without me. I'll watch your back.
I saw him, but I didn't get the achievement, so I might have gotten it.
Yeah, you probably popped it before. Almost all of these achievements I'm getting are rare or are they called rare achievements? That's with the different the noise.
Yeah, with the different bing bong.
That means that a lot of people are playing, I think, Master Chief Collection, but nobody's getting these little onesie-twosie achievements. And a lot of them are worth 5 points or whatever, but still fun to hear that chime. So then we get into that room. Well, we go a little further into this little structure that we're at. And then there's some grunts down below, or some brutes down below. Actually, a bunch of brutes down below in this one area. And then we kind of proceed into that room where it's stair-stepped floors, we have to jump down.
Yeah.
And that one, I really like that encounter. But it's weird because you're like, am I supposed to be going down here? You almost feel like you're going the back way.
Well, and then the doors on either side open, but then they don't go anywhere.
Exactly. So it does force you down that way. And you have some jackals down there, and then kind of a combination of jackals and brutes, and then a ton of brutes down at the bottom, all firing their brute shot grenade launchers at you. And that's a fun one. Again, we're playing a normal, so I think I just jumped down and just kind of cleared the area out. Were you guys more careful? David, were you careful, or did you?
I sometimes like to mess with. Yeah, I like to sometimes mess with these. Grenades are really good in this encounter, because they don't really have a lot of places to go. You can push they're explosive barrels almost, for lack of a better term. You can push them off the edge and use them to set off chain reactions underneath you. So I like to try and do that, because it doesn't work that well on the higher difficulties, but if you're low enough, you can kill a bunch of dudes by just dropping those canisters down. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Slightly different mechanic.
I wanted the ground pound in this room.
Oh yeah, that would have been amazing.
If you haven't played Halo 5, there's a fun new mechanic that you fly in the air and then slam into the ground. Not really a spoiler because it's not a lore spoiler, but something cool that you got to do later on down the road. So you kind of clear out this area, and then actually the next room is where there's a bunch of brutes and jackals. So I misspoke, kind of got out of order there. But the next room is where the brutes and the jackals are, and there's a turret down there. But like you're just going through this area. This whole mission is just brutes and jackals pretty much. And you take down a whole bunch of them along the way. Once you get past this next part is where you finally get outside, which is cool.
Yep.
Did you pick up the fuel rod? Did you guys pick up the fuel rod? Krysta, do you like that? Do you like fuel rod or not? I don't know if we've talked much about fuel rod. We've talked about its existence, but not using it.
I'm more of a precision person, so I was carrying around a carbine and energy sword with me.
David, what were you rolling with?
I like it. I like the fuel rod. If I can get it, I pick it up.
Yeah. And then it's always you always want to find more ammo because I feel like I fire it.
I just spam it.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm always short on ammo, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll pick up this plasma pistol because I need something else. I do like the where the door opens there, and I think there's a jackal there and a brute right away, and then you kind of come down a little ways in that hill, and this ghost. I think the encounter is different because I died a couple times here. I'm just probably trying to run through it too fast. But that ghost will like come in and like slam other people. Or it will just like park nicely. Like it just depends on whatever the AI is doing at the time. Yeah. But that brute just comes hauling in on that ghost. Did you guys hijack ghosts, or did you kind of hoof it a little ways? David, did you do ghost right away?
Oh yeah, ghost straight away.
Instant ghost, yeah. I guess. I mean, the ghosts are so much fun, and it's nice in this little corridor area. I noticed a shotgun. Why are shotguns here? That's so weird.
Yes, one of the brutes just click-clocked the hell out of me with a shotgun. I'm like, what the hell? I was so confused.
It's a very brute weapon, though. I could see them liking it and just taking it with them.
That's true. That's a good point.
Well, eventually they get the maulers, which are basically shotguns.
That's true.
But I guess for this game, they just gave them human shotguns for some reason.
Yeah, and you can find... So there's a brute here that has a shotgun, and then when you proceed further on, there's a bunch of shotguns, and you can get a bunch of ammo and stuff. So... Yeah, I mean, I like that. It makes sense that they would like that as a brutal weapon, something that they would want to use.
But it's annoying.
Well, right, yeah. But they take actually. So I picked up the shotgun, and they can take a couple shotgun shots to the face before they go down. And the reticle too, I noticed, doesn't turn. You know how if you aim on somebody and on an enemy, it turns red. You have to get to a certain distance close to them before it actually turns red, so before it does any damage.
That's true.
Yeah, so go. I feel like we're blazing through this mission, but it's really kind of a quick mission, right? You hop on this ghost and then just kind of follow the stream down, right?
Yeah, you get all those jackal snipers and that mysterious specter.
Oh, then the specter pops up.
The super spooky specter. I found it.
Did you
I
jump
saw
on
it, guys.
Did you try to
exists.
hijack it?
No, I murdered it.
I was
like, I don't want that.
I was planning to hijack it, but then I think one of the jackals destroyed it behind me or something like that. So I was sad. I wanted to drive it. Do you usually hijack it, David?
No, I always ignore it.
Oh, you do? Just kind of cruise through. Do you kind of cruise through this whole mission? Do you just kind of blaze through it?
It kind of depends. Sometimes, depends on the kind of mood I'm in. If I like fighting, I'll fight through it. But if it's on higher difficulties, most of the time I'm just running, boosting that whole way through.
Yeah. And it's again, we're all playing it normal, so it's easier to do that in this area. I do like. This part of the mission does feel a little bit bigger, or at least a little longer of a mission because you are going down this stream in the Ghost. You get to that blockade part, and I just kind of cruise through it. I think it wants you to stop. I remember on the higher difficulties, I had to stop and get out and snipe all those jackals that are up top on that bridge. Krysta, are you cruising through this whole time too, or are you trying to clear out everybody?
No, I killed everyone.
Just with your ghost, or are you hopping off?
I hopped off a couple of times when there was a bunch of brutes and just sat back and killed them all with my carbine. Because once you're far enough away, most of their weapons aren't effective.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, this is a mission, you can cruise through it, but there isn't a huge sense of urgency. I feel like the music, sometimes in the missions, the music is kind of more upbeat, and it's like, okay, we gotta go, we gotta go to get to the objective. But this one, it's, it's nice being in the Ghost, but it feels like you can also take your time if you want to.
The music is almost somber at times.
Yeah.
It's less of I need to get to my objective as fast as I can, and more of I need to clear out as many brutes to help my friends.
Right. Yep, very true. So the stream, keep going down the stream here, and you eventually the stream drops off. There's a sniper or two up top. Usually there's like a log or something like that in the middle of the stream. You can clear out that jackal, another one usually on the side, and then it drops off. And this is kind of like a little base area, and this is essentially the end of the mission right here.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that. So you kind of pop down, and there's lots of enemies, so you can't really take your time and look around. It's not until you kind of get towards the end that you realize that this is just a small little encampment, really.
It's got 2 wraiths, so there's a lot going on.
Yep, you got those wraiths down below. But you have to go up top. So you can go down below into the other area, but that's where the wraiths are camped out. And you can't, at least I couldn't find a spot where you could actually jump up to clear that area. It seemed like you still had to kind of run around the area, kind of clear out the brutes and then run through that armory. Do you guys know of another way of doing it, or? No,
I think that's maybe.
I think that's the only way up.
Yeah.
So you really don't have to go down if you don't want to. You can just stay on the ledges and run right into the building.
Mm-hmm. Do you go?
I just ignored the
I was
raids.
gonna say, did you?
I just went right through.
You went ignored. No. Nice. But there are a lot of actually on that ledge area when you're kind of getting around and going through the armory. Did you notice that the brutes are just hucking grenades? Did they huck grenades for you?
Yeah. Yes. So many grenades.
Crazy.
I had like 3 or 4 around me at once. I was like, what the heck, guys?
Yeah.
Grenade spamming.
I didn't think brutes really threw that many grenades. I mean, they were in the earlier part of the mission, a little bit here and there, but they were just chucking them. Usually there's a ghost that pops up. One of them hops in a ghost and kind of comes over to your area here too. And I feel like I've died multiple times just being next to the ghost and it exploding in my face. But if you take your time in this area, it's not terrible. It's not too bad, even on the higher difficulties, I feel like. And then we kind of get through that little land bridge and into the armory, which is kind of weird because you don't really need all that stuff. Like, it's cool seeing all of the weapons.
But you're basically at the end of the mission anyway.
So I don't know why they threw all those weapons at you. Maybe just so it feels like... Because I think the objective, it does say raise the brute encampment. So that must be where the brutes are just hanging out. So it would make sense that they had an armory there. So maybe that's what they're going for. What did you guys pick up? Krysta, what did you pick up in the armory?
Beam rifle.
Oh, beam rifle. Okay.
Yeah, they had a couple of those. I just beam rifle and carbine, but like I said, it was like you walk out of the building and it almost goes straight to the cutscene.
I like to take something big and heavy because I know there's some ghosts coming up ahead. So I normally take a fuel rod or a rocket launcher. I think there's a human rocket launcher here, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a rocket launcher.
Yeah, there is.
I grabbed that too. But what I used it, so I grabbed the rocket launcher and then I was like, okay, I'm going to clear out those wraiths. And so I cleared out the wraiths.
Oh, I've done that a few times, yeah.
But then I jumped down and I realized that there was nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I had to walk all the way back up and around. Yeah, it's a weird spot to kind of throw a bunch. I guess there are a lot of brutes here. So maybe they're doing that a little bit too. Is just saying, okay, take whatever you want to get through this area. But it almost feels like a spot where you would want to hunker down and like have a couple waves of enemies. If it's going to give you all those weapons. But I mean,
do the weapons you have in this mission, are they the same weapons you get in the next mission with Arbiter?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because maybe they're letting you stock up for his mission. because that's a pretty big mission.
That is true.
We won't talk about it, but it is a big mission.
Yeah.
So it would make sense for them to give you supplies.
Right. We did miss the terminal. So the terminal is kind of on that first area that we just kind of get into this encampment. It's up top. You can pop in. And it's just one of those little flashing ones on the wall. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. And then the skull is in this armory area. And you need to do like a grenade jump to get high enough, or you need to actually kind of move one of the what do you call the big purple things?
Crates?
Yeah, the crates, I guess.
Covenant crates.
Well, you need to move those over and then do a jump on top here. That's the ghost skull is up there. So really all we do here is then we just kind of clear out the ghosts. There's a couple of brutes on ghosts, clear out this area, and if you have a ghost at this point, you can just kind of cruise through down this cave area and then trigger the cutscene and you're done. So I feel like this is one of the fastest walkthroughs we've ever had, because it's a fun mission. There's a lot of different encounters. You can take your time if you want, but you can really just cruise through this whole thing.
And there's not really any lore or anything to talk about in it. We already know what's going on. The great schism is going on, so schism.
Yeah. So the end cutscene here it's kind of cool though, because the cutscene triggers. You get a shot of Arbiter, and you see this wraith kind of slowly coming up to you, and then surprise, it's Urtas.
Yay!
He's like, hey, I remember you. I remember saying horrible things to you at the beginning of this game.
Right. But now we're buds. Let's go.
Something that I found interesting is that he was, when he was talking about, the brutes, and he's like, I don't know why the prophets trusted them. He's still loyal to the prophets at this point. Only Arbiter really knows that the prophets made the brutes do this.
Oh, Urtas is? Interesting.
Well, no. Arbiter. Urtas doesn't know yet. So he's still loyal to the prophets at this point.
Right. Oh, okay. I gotcha.
And Arbiter just doesn't correct him, because I still think Arbiter doesn't quite believe what's going on. But it's interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point. You also see in this cutscene Tartarus and Miranda going off into the control room. And then that's it. Then you get all the scores that you get, how many scores you got, how many people you killed. Do you guys do any of the time runs, or do you do any of the score attack stuff?
I think I have most of them.
Not right now.
There's some I don't have. But I
did a couple when we were playing CE, but holy shit. Some of the scoring ones are the hardest.
You need to play co-op, right, for those?
I think so.
Yeah, you basically need to. They're super hard. The timed runs aren't that bad, but it can get really frustrating when like your warthog flips over or just something happens that costs you a couple seconds.
But you can just play on easy, right, to get that achievement?
Yeah, you can play on easy, and you can kind of run through everything.
Yeah, that's kind of. But is the like the amount of points you get per kill would scale per level, right? So if you're playing normal, you don't get as many points per kill.
Yeah, you get more points for the multiplayers.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you get legendary, and then every skull you add on gives you more multipliers.
So you probably like heroic would probably be the sweet spot for that, for those score attack ones.
I think so.
Yeah.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on the level as well, because some levels aren't that bad on legendary.
That's true.
There are a bunch of guides you can look at, but they're annoying.
Yeah.
The worst is like you get 100 points away from the goal, and then you have to play the mission all over again.
Right. There's like nobody else to kill to get that 100 points.
Yeah. Well, you end the mission, and then it gives you the your score with the multiplier.
I see.
It's like
yeah,
it's frustrating.
Any other trivia, fun things to talk about on this mission?
There's a couple of bits and pieces. It's kind of like it's called out that like the ending cutscene is similar to the scene in Star Wars in Return of the Jedi, where Han Solo is confronted with an AT-ST, and then Chewie jumps out the top of it.
Oh, yeah.
He thinks it's an enemy. So there's a little bit of a mirror over that, where a Wraith obviously faces up Arbiter, and then out pops his buddy. So there's an element to that. And it has an interesting reference they put in, but you can see it. There is a cutscene that was cut from the game, that is supposed to be at the beginning of this level, and it was supposed to show the brutes actually lining up and killing the elite counselors.
Oh.
So, which is an event that's referenced but never actually shown.
Oh yeah, that's what Urtas talks about at the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that was it in an animation or something somewhere. It might have been in a comic or something might have referenced it. I want to say I saw something, but I'm not sure. You already know about the grunt, and there's pretty much not much else. There's supposed to be like some weird faces in the cave's entrance and cat faces on the exit, but I never noticed them.
What?
Yeah, it's like a weird.
No, I never noticed those.
It's a weird thing.
Well, that's it.
That's all I got, guys. Not a whole lot going on in this mission. Like I said, you run through pretty fast.
Yeah, that's right. All right, well, let's do some terminal, I guess. I don't think I posted a community question. That's my fault. But let's do terminal, and we'll just skedaddle from this.
Yeah.
Okay, so this terminal actually goes over a lot of stuff we already know. So it's Refume and 343 again, the couple throughout this entire mission, just bickering back and forth. The lovely couple. Guilty Spark basically calls him stupid.
Yeah, right. He does.
He's
multiple
like, you're
times.
really stupid, aren't you? But basically, this has been alluded to in almost every single terminal, but it's basically the fact that the Arbiters... He points out how convenient it is that the Arbiters are always very influential and usually the smarter of the Sangheili race. And they're just... They just happen to kind of know what's going on and then, of course, become Arbiter and die. So he was just pointing out how convenient it was that every time, an elite that kind of knows gets too close to the prophets and figures stuff out, suddenly becomes an Arbiter and then eventually dies. So pointing out that they're eliminating threats in the Sangheili. And that comes as a shock to Refume because he's stupid. But another thing that's kind of casually mentioned is that Guilty Spark needs a reclaimer to do anything. Yeah. So we already kind of know that he needs a reclaimer from Halo CE, but this is just another hint that we're very special. We reclaimers are so special.
We don't really know what a reclaimer is at this point. We don't really know for a while. Do we talk about what reclaimer is at this point or not? Do we just say it's like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I thought we knew in Halo CE, did we not?
Did we talk about just the human, right? Like, that's all you need?
Yeah, it's just what that's what he calls the human race. All of the Forerunner AI call humans as reclaimers. We don't know why we're given that title at this point, but we just know that they need us. They need us to fulfill whatever the rings are supposed to be doing. Yep. So they need us to unlock everything. Yeah. And the Covenant just happened to be killing us all. That's interesting. I wonder why they're doing that.
Yeah, this one, this terminal doesn't add a ton. I mean, like you said, we kind of know all this stuff. So I wish they would have done something else. There's probably, 3 or 4 with 343 and Sessa throughout. Yeah. And I feel like the coolest one is the first one, where 343 finds his way onto that mining facility, and it's like, oh, okay, well, they're going to have the conversation now, so that makes sense, right? And a lot of the other stuff, I feel, could have been done in a short story or a comic book or something like that, but, well, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, everything in this particular cutscene has been alluded to. This is just the cutscene where they spell it out for you. This is what's going on. This is why the prophets are doing this. This is what the Arbiters really are. They're not saviors. They haven't actually done anything wrong. They just threatened the prophets. Right. And the prophets send them to die because of it.
Anything to add, David?
Not much. It's a simple mission that is extremely difficult on Legendary. All the Jackal Snipers and whatnot.
Oh, true.
Berserking Brutes. And I have some very bad memories of this mission, as well as the good ones, because it is actually a good mission. I like it a lot. I guess, yeah, that's kind of it. I as with most of this game, it's some of these missions kind of blur together to me. So, like, I kind of forget sometimes that, like, this isn't the mission where other things happen. I'm like, oh, crap. this mission's over. Like you said, it kind of ends suddenly because I'm blurring it in with the follow up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got 2 missions left.
Ooh.
Go.
Oh, the best missions.
So close.
2 of the best missions.
So close.
Yeah.
These next missions are going to give us a lot to talk about.
Yes, indeed. 2 missions, and then we move on to, I think we decided Halo 3, right? Halo 3 will be next.
And then we'll go with ODST, and then on to the
4.
other ones.
Yeah.
4 and 5.
Yep.
We're getting there. It's a lot of fun. I've seen a couple people in our either Facebook group or Discord chats that are following along on the episode, so thank you for following us. That's kind of why we're doing these missions, and we're getting to the end. Halo 2.
Ooh.
It'll be fun.
Hopefully we'll get it by the end of the year.
Well, right. That's, we'll get there. We'll do it. All right, that'll do it for our debriefing of Uprising from Halo 2. On the next episode, we'll be covering High Charity. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. Until next time, evolved.
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 Ooh.
That was nice.